When you look at a painting on a wall, your experience is mostly static. You stand in one spot and observe a flat, two-dimensional surface. But a physical object invites you to move. This is the Independence Monument in Kampala, a classic example of sculpture in the round. It is a freestanding, three-dimensional artwork built to be viewed from all 360 degrees. Because this artwork occupies real space, the artist must account for depth and structural balance from every possible viewing angle, rather than a single vantage point. Before an artist begins to shape that space, they have to make a physical choice: start with a solid block, or start with absolutely nothing. This diagram illustrates the two main paths. On the left is the subtractive technique. This requires a sculptor to take a rigid block of material, like wood, and carefully chip away what they don't need. On the right is the additive technique. Here, the artist builds the form up by sticking pieces of soft clay together. The path you choose dictates your margin of error. Carving is unforgiving. Once a piece of wood is removed, it cannot go back. Modeling with wet clay is highly forgiving, allowing constant adjustments to the shape as you work. Let's apply the additive method to a specific subject. This photograph shows a local Ugandan crested crane. Notice its long legs and slender neck. We are going to model this shape out of local clay. This goal presents an immediate physical problem. Wet clay is heavy. If you try to stack a tall, thin column of soft clay, gravity will cause it to sag and eventually snap under its own weight. To keep the clay upright, you have to build an armature. This is an internal skeleton, usually made of wire or small sticks, that acts as a hidden support structure for the soft material. Mastering the additive process requires you to engineer this unseen foundation first. The clay is simply the muscle layered over the bone. With the armature secure, you begin the core action of the additive process, firmly pressing small handfuls of wedged clay around the structure to build the body. We place the work on a board so we can easily rotate it. Continuously spinning this board prevents you from staring at one side for too long. If you only sculpt from the front, you might think the shape is complete, but a quick 90-degree turn reveals that the side profile is completely flat. Take a look at this flat side profile. Based on the rules of sculpture in the round, what must the artist do next to fix this? The solution is to immediately switch your perspective. You add new handfuls of clay directly to that flat backside, extending the mass outward to build true spherical volume. Creating accurate 3D proportions requires constant rotation. You are actively negotiating height, width, and depth across multiple viewing planes at the exact same time. Once the overall volume is correct, you shift your attention to treating the final exterior surface of the sculpture. A common beginner mistake is taking water and rubbing the clay until it resembles perfectly smooth artificial plastic. Instead of smoothing it away, use small sticks to scrape in patterns and leave your own thumbprints visible on the surface to mimic the coarse texture of bird feathers. Leaving these tool marks and natural textures is a deliberate artistic choice. It gives the artwork physical energy and makes the subject look realistic and alive. By supporting the clay with an armature, rotating it continuously, and preserving the rough surface, you achieve a fully proportioned crested crane that commands attention from any angle. This additive mindset goes beyond wet clay. Contemporary artists use a process called assemblage, where they weld scrap metal and old machine parts together to build equally impressive freestanding forms. Let's review the core principles we've covered. The additive process builds material up, while subtractive carves it away. When modeling, always remember your golden rules. Use an armature for support, constantly rotate your work 360 degrees, and keep your natural textures intact. Whether you are pressing wet clay or welding scrap steel, creating in the round forces you to pull concepts off the flat page and translate them into real objects that occupy our physical environment.